One of the beauties, I think, of the Franciscan movement is there's never been a sort of fixed structures for prayer, and that each person finds their comfort zone, if you like, their comfort spot, and their time. But we would spend time each day in private, quiet prayer. Francis always, where he could, found a place of solitude, of silence. And I think that's what we try to do too. It's difficult for us in our very, very busy and complex worlds to find time, but it's very important that we do find time and that we find places of solitude and silence. For Francis, one of the things that he loved to do was to climb mountains, and he would find up on top of mountaintops places of quiet and solitude that gave him a magnificent perspective on creation itself. And if you've been to Umbria or Tuscany and imagine what it must have been like in the 13th century, it just would have been an ideal locus for prayer.
You can't really enter into the joys of Franciscan theology without stopping to fully embrace the way Francis understood God in all of creation. And so for us here at the college, we often invite our students to leave behind the everyday classrooms, journey into this sacred space which we call the Hermitage. And we gather the students here at the amphitheatre as a way of helping them stop, pause, focus on what is truly important, and again reflect on the wonderful message of St. Francis, the Peace Prayer. Throughout all our ceremonies and our excursions and retreats, we continually remind them of being an instrument of peace, a source of love, pardon, unity, faith, hope, light, and above all, joy, and experiencing that wonderful sense of being at one with God and all the fellow creatures that God created, and particularly our school community friends. One of the greatest gifts St. Francis gave us just before he died was his beautiful poem, The Canticle of Creation. And as you can see, we have the 3 parts donated by seniors a couple of years ago, but those magnificent words, Most High, all-powerful, all-good Lord, all praise is yours, all glory, all honour and all blessings. The beautiful olive grove here reminds us that olives were a key part of the Italian landscape, a very important part of the landscape of the Holy Land, and so very much a great symbol for us. We have a wilderness walk that winds its way through those trees, and as you can see in the distance, a little almost campfire setting, if you like, where students can come away, sit and chat and just get away from the pressures of life. In the past, we've used this for many happy or very sad occasions where people have lost loved ones. We've been able to sit there with the relatives and light a candle and just recall great memories of that person and to help the students gather that sense of calm and peace again in their lives.
And then Francis also found particular places, not just sort of what we might call hermitages, but churches were very important to Francis. You might recall that encounter Francis had at the Church of San Damiano. It's a familiar story to those in the Franciscan tradition, but it's about a young Francis who was wandering around not knowing what to do with his life, confused and very much alone. And he walks into this dilapidated chapel just below the Assisi itself, and he sees there a crucifix. It's a Byzantine crucifix. And he kneels before it, the story is said, and he asks the Lord, God, what do you want me to do? What should I do with my life? And from the crucifix he hears these words, Francis, repair my church, for you see it is in ruins. And that's been interpreted in various sorts of ways, but initially, of course, for Francis, it was about physically repairing that church. So churches have always been a very special place for Francis, because also in churches there is the Blessed Sacrament. He had a great devotion to the Eucharist, because he saw in the Eucharist the presence of Jesus Christ. So wherever the presence of Jesus Christ was for Francis, that was a place of reverence, of sacredness, of holiness. For some people, you'd sort of say, oh, well, we do our work and then we do our prayer. For the Franciscan, our work is our prayer, and our prayer is informed by our work. So there's not a dichotomy between prayer and work. For the Franciscan, you reflect upon your work in your prayer, and you listen to God responding to how his Spirit can be best, the Spirit of God can be best lived out in your response to your apostolic work. It's not a question of a balance between work and prayer, it's a question of prayer shapes our work and work shapes our prayer.
All right, everyone, let's get ready now for Franciscan 5, pencils down.
So Franciscan 5 has been in our school for 2 years now. At 12:40 each day, the entire college community stops. Some music, usually it's instrumental music, is played throughout the college community over our PA system, and it means that all teachers, all office staff, all teacher aides, all students stop what they're doing and they just stop to reflect.
It's good because it just gives us a break and it lets us just forget everything we've been doing in the first class, and we just get that time to think about everything that's going on. We can pray, we can just sit and rest, and it's just something relaxing, and it's good for us in a way because it's keeping us all calm and stuff.
It's really good. It's like you always look forward to it because you know you can just relax and just not worry about anything and just go to your own place.